You were taught that earning more creates wealth, but wealthy believers understand something most miss. Wealth grows through repeatable habits, not income size. A person earning $60,000 with biblical money habits will outpace someone making $200,000 without them every single time. This is not about working harder or praying more. This is about building systems that compound over years, not months. The Bible teaches principles that govern money regardless of your income level, education background, or current financial situation. And habit number 9 is the one most Christians actively avoid because it directly confronts the lifestyle trap that keeps them broke even when their income grows. Let us walk through 12 biblical money habits that grow wealth and protect it from being destroyed by culture. Habit number 1. Track every dollar before you spend it. Most believers operate on feelings, not facts, when it comes to money. They think they know where their money goes until they actually track it for 30 days straight. Proverbs 21 verse 5 says, "The plans of the diligent lead to profit, as surely as haste leads to poverty." Tracking creates awareness. Awareness creates control, and control creates wealth. You cannot manage what you do not measure, and you cannot grow what you cannot see. Start by writing down every single dollar for 30 consecutive days. Not to judge yourself or create shame, but to see the objective truth of your financial behavior. Once you see where money actually flows every week, you gain the power to redirect it toward growth instead of waste. Most people who do this exercise discover 15 to 20% of their income leaking into forgotten subscriptions, impulse purchases, and emotional spending they do not even remember making. Tracking is not about restriction or punishment. It is about clarity, and financial clarity is the foundation of every wealth-building strategy. Which expense would surprise you most if you tracked it honestly for 30 days? Habit number 2. Pay yourself first automatically. Waiting until the end of the month to save whatever is left over guarantees you will save absolutely nothing, because there will always be something that needs that last dollar. Proverbs 27 verse 12 says, "The prudent see danger and take refuge, but the simple keep going and pay the penalty." Here is what wealthy believers do differently. Automate 10% of your income into savings before you see it, before you touch it, before you spend it, and before you justify why this month is somehow different from every other month. This removes willpower from the equation and makes wealth building automatic instead of optional. Your lifestyle will naturally adjust to whatever remains after that automatic transfer. Most believers reverse this order completely. They pay everyone else first, including bills, subscriptions, restaurants, entertainment, and wants, then wonder why nothing is left at month end for their future. Biblical stewardship starts with securing your financial future, not funding your present comfort and convenience. If you automate savings the way you automate your bills, you remove the monthly negotiation with yourself about whether you can afford it, and wealth begins to compound in the background without requiring daily discipline or constant attention. What percentage of your income do you currently save automatically before spending on anything else? Habit number 3. Separate wants from needs ruthlessly. The culture around you has systematically trained you to call everything a need, but the Bible draws clear and non-negotiable lines between survival and preference. 1 Timothy 6 verse 8 says, "If we have food and clothing, we will be content with that." Everything beyond basic survival is technically a want, not a need. This does not mean you must live in poverty or deny yourself every comfort. It means you must know the difference with brutal honesty. A brand new car is a want. Reliable transportation is a need. Eating out 5 times a week is a want. Food is a need. The latest technology upgrade is a want. Functional tools are needs. Streaming services, designer clothes, luxury vacations. These are all wants. When you blur the line between want and need, your budget becomes an emotional wish list instead of a financial plan, and your wealth stays permanently flat. Ruthless clarity about this distinction protects your money from emotional justification and cultural pressure. Wealthy believers fund their actual needs first, and then fund wants only with leftover margin, not with money that should be building their future. Ask yourself honestly before every single purchase. Is this a genuine need, or am I emotionally justifying a want? How many of your purchases in the last 30 days were actual needs versus wants you convinced yourself were necessary? Habit number 4. Review spending weekly, not monthly. Here is what most Christians miss about financial management. Monthly budget reviews happen too late to correct course or prevent damage. Proverbs 4 verse 23 says, "Guard your heart above all else, for everything you do flows from it." And guarding your finances requires the same level of vigilance. Weekly spending reviews allow you to catch problems early, adjust quickly, and stay tightly aligned with your financial goals before small leaks become massive holes. Dedicate just 15 focused minutes every single Sunday or Monday to review the previous week and intentionally plan the week ahead. Look for spending patterns, surprises, leaks, and categories where you are consistently over budget. This simple habit prevents the shock at month end, where you stare at your account, wondering what happened to all your money and where it possibly could have gone. Weekly financial checkpoints create continuous awareness, and that awareness prevents waste better than any restrictive budget ever could. Most people avoid weekly reviews because they fear what they will discover. But financial avoidance always costs more than financial awareness. This is the 5 to 7 minute mark, where most videos with 25% retention lose their viewers. Stay with me, because Habit 5 changes everything about how you view debt. When was the last time you reviewed your spending before the month was already over and the damage was done? Habit number 5. Avoid debt for consumable items. Using debt to purchase things that lose value the moment you use them is pure financial poison with no exceptions. Proverbs 22 verse 7 says the borrower is slave to the lender, and that slavery is most painful when you are paying interest on things that are already worthless. If something depreciates in value, do not finance it under any circumstances. Cars, clothes, vacations, electronics, restaurant meals, furniture. These items lose significant value the moment you purchase them or the second you walk out of the store. Financing depreciating items means you pay interest every month on something that is now worth less than what you still owe, creating a trap where your current income is permanently funding your past decisions instead of your future security. Biblical wealth building requires that you own your money instead of owing it to creditors who profit from your impatience. The credit card industry generates billions in profit every year when consumers confuse convenience with financial wisdom. Use debt sparingly and only for appreciating assets like real estate or education, and even then use it cautiously with clear repayment plans. Every single dollar you pay in interest to a lender is a dollar that cannot compound and grow wealth for your family. Which debt are you carrying right now for something that has already completely lost its original value? Habit number 6. Build margin before increasing lifestyle. Lifestyle inflation destroys wealth faster than a low income ever could, and most people never even notice it happening until years have passed. Proverbs 21 verse 20 says, "The wise store up choice food and olive oil, but fools gulp theirs down immediately." Every raise, every promotion, every bonus, every unexpected income increase should expand your financial margin, not expand your lifestyle spending. Most believers immediately and automatically upgrade their spending the moment their income increases. Then, they wonder why they still feel financially stressed despite earning more money year after year. Margin is the gap between what you earn and what you spend, and that gap is the only place where wealth security and financial opportunity can actually grow. Build at least 6 months of expenses and accessible savings before you upgrade your car, your home, your wardrobe, or your vacation budget. This habit protects you from financial setbacks and positions you for multiplication instead of just survival. Wealthy believers live below their means permanently and intentionally, not temporarily while waiting for more income. How much financial margin actually exists between your total income and your total spending right now. And what would happen if your income suddenly dropped? Habit number 7. Give consistently regardless of circumstances. Generosity is not optional or negotiable in biblical finance. It is absolutely foundational to everything else. Proverbs 11 verse 24 says, "One person gives freely yet gains even more. Another withholds unduly but comes to poverty." Giving breaks the scarcity mindset that keeps people trapped, and it positions you in the flow of provision instead of the prison of hoarding. It teaches your heart at the deepest level that money is a tool to be used, not a treasure to be worshipped. Most believers give only when they feel financially comfortable. But biblical giving happens first consistently, and sometimes even sacrificially, before you spend on your own preferences. Start with at least 10% of your income, and give it before you spend on yourself, your wants, or even some of your needs. This is not about religious obligation or manipulative pressure. It is about heart alignment and financial positioning. When you give first and consistently, you declare that God is your ultimate source, not your paycheck, your job, or your investment account. Giving opens doors that hoarding permanently closes, and it grows your capacity to steward even greater increase in the future. We are at the 10-minute mark. This is where good videos separate from great ones. Most believers miss what is coming in habit 8 because they stop watching too early. How consistently do you give even when your finances feel uncertain or tight? Habit number 8. Plan major purchases 6 months ahead. Financial impulse destroys wealth faster than almost anything else, and planning protects wealth from emotional decisions. Proverbs 21 verse 5 says, "The plans of the diligent lead to profit, as surely as haste leads to poverty." If you know you will need a new appliance, a vehicle, or any major expense, give yourself a minimum of 6 months to research options, save cash, and make a thoughtful decision. This removes emotional urgency and prevents debt that would otherwise trap you for years. Most major financial mistakes and regrets happen in moments of haste, when feelings override wisdom and advertising pressure overrides patience. Planning gives you adequate time to find better options, compare prices, negotiate terms, and save cash so you can buy without financing. It also reveals whether you actually need the item at all, or whether you just wanted it temporarily in that emotional moment. 6 months of intentional waiting separates genuine needs from passing desires, and prevents decisions you will regret for years. Major purchases require patience, not speed. How many of your biggest financial regrets happened because you made a major purchase decision far too quickly? Habit number 9. Keep lifestyle below income permanently. This is the single habit that most Christians actively avoid and resist, because the entire culture screams the exact opposite message every single day. Proverbs 13 verse 11 says, "Dishonest money dwindles away, but whoever gathers money little by little makes it grow." The lifestyle trap convinces you that more income automatically means more spending, but that is completely wrong. Wealth only grows in the gap between earning and spending, not in the spending itself. If you earn $5,000 and spend $4,000, you build wealth consistently. But if you earn $10,000 and spend $10,000, you stay completely broke permanently despite the income increase. Keeping your lifestyle below your income requires daily intentionality, because every system, every advertisement, and every social pressure around you is specifically designed to expand your spending automatically the moment your income grows even slightly. Wealthy believers resist lifestyle inflation, refuse to compete with others, and live with financial margin as a permanent lifestyle habit, not as a temporary discipline while waiting to earn more. This single habit separates people who actually build lasting wealth from people who only look wealthy on social media while drowning in debt privately. What would happen to your wealth if you froze your lifestyle at its exact current level for the next 5 years and banked every single raise? That decision alone could make you wealthy. Habit number 10. Maintain an emergency fund always. Hope, prayer, and optimism are not financial strategies, and they will not protect you when crisis inevitably comes. Proverbs 6 verse 6 to 8 says, "Go to the ant, you sluggard, consider its ways and be wise. It stores its provisions in summer and gathers its food at harvest." An emergency fund is not financial pessimism or a lack of faith. It is biblical preparation for a world that includes unexpected events, medical bills, car repairs, job loss, family emergencies. These will happen to everyone eventually. And without a financial buffer, those moments instantly create debt panic and major setbacks that destroy years of progress. Build 3 to 6 months of essential expenses in a separate account that you do not touch for anything except genuine emergencies. This fund is not for vacations, holiday shopping, or wants. It exists only for true unexpected financial crises that would otherwise destroy years of financial progress. It protects your wealth from being wiped out by a single unexpected event. Most believers avoid building emergency funds because it requires discipline and delayed gratification. But the financial cost of not having one is always far greater than the effort required to build it. How many months of expenses could you cover today if your income completely stopped tomorrow? That number reveals your financial stability. Habit number 11. Say no to financial pressure from others. Your personal wealth is not a community resource, and protecting it requires clear boundaries. Proverbs 22 verse 7 says, "The borrower is slave to the lender," and the same principle applies to social and family pressure. Family members, friends, and even church members will pressure you to spend beyond budget, lend money you cannot afford to lose, or give beyond your capacity. Saying no firmly does not make you selfish, cold, or unspiritual. It makes you wise and financially responsible. Biblical stewardship requires clear boundaries between helping and enabling. Helping others is good, but enabling ongoing financial dysfunction is not, and you must know the difference. If someone asks you for money you genuinely cannot afford to give, the correct answer is a firm no, without guilt, without over-explaining, and without apology. Your first responsibility is to steward what God entrusted to you well, and that requires protecting it from pressure, manipulation, and entitlement. Learn to say calmly and firmly, "I am not able to do that," and then move forward without justifying your decision or defending your boundary. Boundaries protect wealth from being drained by other people's expectations and emotional manipulation. How often do you say yes to financial requests out of guilt instead of wisdom? That pattern will keep you broke. Habit number 12. Review and adjust budget monthly. A budget is not a financial restriction or punishment. It is a roadmap that guides your money toward your goals instead of letting it disappear. Proverbs 16 verse 9 says, "In their hearts humans plan their course, but the Lord establishes their steps." Every single month is different. Income shifts, expenses change, and priorities naturally adjust over time. A static budget that never changes becomes irrelevant fast and loses all effectiveness. Monthly reviews keep your financial plan aligned with your actual reality instead of an outdated ideal from 6 months ago. Look carefully at what worked well, what did not work, and what needs to change going forward. Adjust categories, reallocate funds, and recommit to your goals with current information instead of outdated assumptions. This habit turns your budget from a forgotten document into a dynamic tool that reflects your current financial reality instead of last year's aspirations. Most people create a budget once, then completely abandon it the moment life changes. But wealthy believers treat their budget as a living system that evolves continuously with their circumstances. When was the last time you actually adjusted your budget categories to reflect your real life instead of pretending your old plan still works? That honest assessment could change everything. These 12 habits are not theory or motivational concepts. They are actionable systems that consistently grow wealth, regardless of your current income level or starting point. Wealth does not come from what you earn. It comes entirely from what you do with what you earn and how consistently you do it over time. These habits align your daily behavior with biblical principles, and biblical principles govern financial outcomes whether you believe them or not. Whether you implement just one habit today or commit to all 12, the results will follow, because these are not personal preferences or optional suggestions. They are patterns that produce increase when applied consistently. Your financial future changes permanently the moment your financial habits change. Which of these 12 habits will you implement first this week? Comment the number below so I know which one resonated most with you.